What's up, everybody? Once again, it's Brandon, man. Sean straight up off a phone on a Saturday morning. So let's talk. This video is brought to you by BrandmanNetwork.com because I signed myself, baby. So I gotta just change the subject of what I wanted to talk about because this clip with Russ at the Revolt Summit saying that you're a fool, basically, to give your lawyer 5% or 10%, put them dudes on hourly. All right, it's loaded because anytime Russ makes one of these types of comments, it's always going to be loaded. And I'm going to get into something that artists, I feel like y'all really need to hear after that. But I'm just going to go straight into Russ in this particular comment. All right. One, I appreciate the fact that Russ is at least making artists think about what they're doing, to pay attention. I'll start there. But when we talk about this kind of advice, it is contextual. Like, to actually say you shouldn't pay a lawyer 5 to 10% when you don't know the artist situation, that can be a little that could be a little rough. So artists, I know it sounds good and y'all like, yeah, of course, why would I pay them 10% or 5 to 10% when I could just pay them hourly? I get it. It makes a lot of sense to, like, just generally speaking, but consider this scenario. Right? Because I posted this on my Instagram, and I'm going to just use real scenarios on Instagram that people talked about. Like, one guy talked about, hey, at the beginning, I couldn't afford to do hourly, right? Because hourly can be more expensive a lot of times, especially for indie artists that are just starting out, right? It was actually cheaper to have a 5 to 10% breakdown at a time versus having an hourly situation for this guy who had a record label and he had some artists, right? Because if he only has 10K and the hourly might add up to 5K and the 20% might add up to 2K or 5% might add up to what? I'm not even doing the math. $500 to $1,000, right? Do the math. So let's start there, right? Do the math on whatever your situation is, because that's why I always say advice is contextual. Now, for a bigger artist, right, that's huge, and when you're maybe always getting sued or you're always dealing with all these other scenarios, it might make more sense to have 5 to 10% that you're giving these lawyers. And then there's also different lawyers that people have sometimes that are dealing with different situations. But the bigger thing is analyze what the business decision you're making based on what that comes with. What's the value that you expect out of it? Just like any employee. Right? These people that are moving and these artists that are big, they're supposed to be keeping their lawyers working, right? They need to stay working because a lot of that comment was off the general premise that your person the artist is getting finessed, right? The person's not doing any work. They're just sitting around filling their thumbs, collecting 5% left and right from all these artists. If that's true, you don't need to renegotiate necessarily them doing hourly. If they're not doing no work for you, they probably need to get fired. Think about that, right? Like it's not a 5 to 10% question or an hourly question or a retainer question. It's one, what are you expecting to get out this scenario? What do you even have yourself, right? Where is your career? And make a decision for there. So stop taking blanket advice because at the end of the day, right, a lot of these things sound good and inspirational, motivational to artists, right? They make you say, yeah, that's great advice. And yeah, he's putting me on just because it's in your favor, right? But that's where a lot of people mess up. They go with advice that sounds in their favor. And it's the same thing that politicians do, right? It moves you and it puts you on that side. But at the same time, just because you haven't thought the question through, just because something sounds like it's in your favor doesn't mean like it's the right decision to make or the right advice to take. Please keep that in mind because at the end of the day, just like what Russ said, it's contextual. Any video you see on this channel is contextual. I try to tell people all the time, right? These are frameworks, these advice, these things that y'all take in, they're things to consider, right? But analyze if it fits your situation at the time. Sometimes it's advice that matters at level 1. Sometimes it matters at level 3 or 5. You got to figure out where you are and if that advice applies to you at that time. This is just an additional perspective for you to consider. That's it. So this whole 5 to 10% thing that Russ is talking about, I get it. It sounds good, but chill out. Like it's not It's not 100% the greatest advice in the world. And I don't even want to say anything against him, because I, again, appreciate that it's making artists think. Because we do have a lot of industry standards. I'm not a big person who says, oh, yeah, that's industry standard. I don't care what industry standard is, because a standard could be BS, right? There's a lot of laws that was BS. If we go back to the 1800s, right? There's a lot of standards in this country that was BS. So you can't go by what industry standard is, social standard is. That's irrelevant. Evaluate your situation, evaluate the value you expect to get out of it from a business standpoint, and then see what happens from there, right? Get an understanding of what you should get from there. So remember, these lawyers, these roles, they work for you. They're supposed to work for you, but you can't truly get them to do that to the max if you don't even understand what they're supposed to be doing. So first, figure out what they're supposed to be doing, why that role matters to you, and then you can follow up and make sure that that thing is occurring. Of course, you want to have trust, but I think too many artists are marking off these roles as like a checklist. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh man, yep, I got me a manager, I got me a lawyer, I got me a graphic designer, I got me a PR person, but you don't even know exactly what they're supposed to be getting done. And if you don't know exactly what they're supposed to be getting done, and then you're wondering why stuff isn't getting executed, maybe you got a manager, but it's a bad manager because you don't know what he's supposed to be doing. Some people don't know that. And this isn't something that I necessarily thought of. Some of the lawyers that commented, two dope lawyers, we're talking about Atira and Ariel. They were mentioning how a lawyer can bring you business opportunities, right? In the same way we talk about managers can bring you business opportunities, lawyers have the ability to put you on to certain things. I'm not fully, into what specifically things they're talking about, but there's so much a part of this business, so much in this business. You gotta, one, be knowledgeable as much as possible, but then also get people around you that are for you, and have advisors, right? Have mentors, get all these people and take in more information, because this one-off advice, this general advice isn't gonna do it for you, right? It's great that we got this information out here today, but it's not gonna do it for you. I gotta mention this as well. All y'all folks, follow the @BrandMan Network Instagram page. We're gonna be doing some interesting things in there, and we're gonna be making sure that we do continue to bring specific types of advice and good posts and things like that for y'all to check out, specific to industry and business. Once again, I've been saying we're going to get deeper and deeper into this business thing, because so much of what artists need is the creative and understand how to actually execute their own stuff, but the business back end going deeper into that, because there's so much more than just owning your masters and things like that. Building business has a lot more infrastructure to it. So we're going to be talking about that. Actually, probably going to run some contests off that page to offer value for you guys. Check out the Brand Man Network Instagram page. Follow it. We're just now starting that thing off. You're going to hear me pushing it a lot, because we're going to be doing some dope things and we want to grow it fast. Other than that, it was something I wanted to say. Now I remember what I was going to say. So, once again, kind of along the lines of this contextual advice and the industry standards, you do have a choice. You do have a choice. So many artists believe that they don't have a choice because this is how things go, or these are the resources they have. Check this out. Once you start thinking long term, especially some of these things where it seems like, okay, this isn't the greatest deal right now, or this is a great deal right now, whatever it is, right? You can start putting in context through time. What I mean by that is, if I have more time, if I'm really trying to build a career, I can strategize with this thing. Right? Okay, this deal isn't the best in the long run. Okay, this deal isn't the best in the short term, right? But that deal will get me into this particular situation, and then now that I'm in this particular situation, over time I'll build some leverage, and when that deal is up, I'm in a whole new situation. I have a lot more power. And I'm not saying sign some kind of lifetime deal like Kanye did. I'm not saying sign some 6-7 year deal situation. I'm not even just talking about record deals. When I say deal, I'm talking about whatever deals you are making in business, period. Right? A lot of times it's getting yourself in a specific situation. Sometimes maybe you just have to survive over here. right, for a little bit while these other areas thrive and you get it together. So you got to outsource this part of your business, right? You don't even have these resources. You outsource it for now to somebody else who would do it better and more efficiently. And then maybe you get bigger and you can hire somebody to do these roles, and then they're more specific to you, and you can hire them for less money. Who knows, right? It all depends on where you are. You have to be able to think independently, because that's what the whole I sign myself mentality is about. It's not strictly a label thing or, I own my stuff. It's owning your destiny, owning the way you think, thinking independently. Like, that's the biggest thing. Thinking independently, not being contrarian, because contrarians always, we always like to big up the contrarians because they sound like, they're smart just because they're going against people, right? And no, that's not it. Contrarian thinking is not independent thinking, because contrarians need the conventional wisdom just to exist. A lot of those people, if everybody agree with them, they start going the other way. That's not what it's about. Independently analyze every single situation, figure out every situation and the results that you want from that. So, once again, Brandman Network Instagram page, check that thing out. We'll be doing a lot of things there. Got a lot of really dope things coming. And other than that, I want to hear what you guys think about that particular situation, the Russ situation. Put that in the comments below. Let's talk. And I think we are good for this video right here, because I got some other work that I'm about to do for y'all. Some really dope stuff that's coming out. Other than that, if you like this video, go hit the like button. If you like it, might as well share it. And if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button.